Welcome. Hi, Susan. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Global Ignite session. And
good morning.
If you
Welcome.
are not on camera, we'd love to see your faces. Hey, Claire. Hi. Welcome. Hi, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Great.
Hi,
to
Amanda.
So good to see everybody hopping on. This is awesome. We're just going to give it a minute here while everyone is joining. And do want to just say welcome. We're so glad you're here. We have a great session for you today. We're really grateful that you chose to spend your time with us, and Claire and Yvette from Resonate. And we do want to give you a chance to just say hello in the chat. Go ahead and put your name and where you're calling in from. We have such a diverse and global community, and we love to just be able to connect in that way. Go ahead and say hello, give each other a little shout out.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello. Well, awesome. So great to see everybody.
Oh, someone's calling from Florence. One of my favorite cities, Susan. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have some of our coaches here at WIA on, so welcome to you guys as coaches. Thank you for joining.
There's Lanka, Netherlands. So great to have everyone. This is awesome. Well, we're just going to give it another minute here. I'm going to quickly go over a couple housekeeping things. First, we do ask that unless you're sharing, you can kindly stay on mute just so we can hear everybody who is speaking. And second, as we kind of mentioned, if you have the bandwidth and you're able, we would love for you to have your videos on. It's just such a great way to connect and be able to really be present for the speakers that are here today that we're so excited to have with us. And lastly, if you're just joining us, the call is recorded. You should have gotten a notification, and we'll be sharing that out later. We have a couple other people joining from the waiting room. And as we really get started here, I do want to take just a really small moment to welcome everyone. And in that way, I just want to welcome everyone and all voices, all perspectives, and all experiences. At WIA, we are a rich and diverse community from different locations around the world, as you can see here today. And we welcome and respect all backgrounds, cultures, and beliefs. We want to create a space here today that everyone feels like they're able to share and are included. So please feel comfortable bringing any of your thoughts, questions, or comments to the conversation. Go ahead and feel free to use the chat. And we might have some time later where you can come off mute and we can talk as a group together. And with that, I would love to hand it over to our WIA board chair, Athena. Thank you so much for being here again today, and Athena.
Welcome, everybody. It's so great to see you. And I'm really excited about this Global Ignite session because we are breaking ground in two areas. One is, this is the first time we're featuring one of our WIA Catalysts, Yvette, as an interviewer of our guest, Claire. And so that's one of the areas we're breaking ground, and we hope to do that more in the future, because one of our missions is really elevating and amplifying the voices of young women in social impact like Yvette and like Claire. And also the other first today is this is our first speaker from Africa, from Rwanda, two speakers from Rwanda. And we're so excited to have them because more and more we have women from Africa in our program, and we really want their voices to come forward. So I'm so delighted to have Yvette and Claire with us today. I want to tell you a little bit about their organization and about them before they get started. So they are from Resonate in Rwanda, and their mission, which is so aligned with what we do at Women's Impact Alliance, is to unlock the leadership potential of women and girls in East Africa. And they provide short leadership workshops that allow women and girls to shift their mindsets, turn their skills into action, and fulfill their potential. And one of the things that Claire said when we were preparing before we came on today is, what could be better than empowering women? So we all have that in common, and it's so great to have them with us today. So they've been working in Rwanda in this arena for 10 years. This year's their 10-year anniversary. And in that time, they've had 23,000 women and girls go through their programs. So that's amazing, amazing accomplishment in 10 years. And they have a goal of reaching 100,000 women and girls by 2026. So really, really big project that they're doing. So I want to just now say a little bit about Yvette, who's going to be interviewing Claire today. Yvette works at Resonate with Claire, and she's the program coordinator there. And she also manages all of Resonate's facilitators and is a trainer herself. So she's very accomplished in this arena. And the topic today is closing the confidence gap, which I think even without knowing exactly how that's defined, we all know what it is, right? The confidence gap that women have that hold us back. So she is the trainer, she manages the facilitators, and is a very powerful woman in that arena. And she also is super optimistic and super passionate about elevating the community's well-being, especially women and girls in Rwanda. So that's our interviewer, Yvette. Claire is the CEO of Resonate, and she leads the organization in everything, in strategy. She leads the team, she leads the program expansion. And what I love about who Claire is, there are many things I love about Claire, but one is that she aspires to live in a world, and I'm quoting her now, where women and girls believe in their dreams, raise their voices without fear, and run successful businesses. So with that, I want to welcome Yvette and Claire and hand it over to them to have a conversation about the confidence gap and how to close it. Thanks, you two.
Wow. Thank you, Atina. That was quite an introduction. We're honored to be here, and thank you everyone who joined us today. So I'm here, obviously, to interview my role model and my boss, Claire, to talk to you guys a bit about what we believe in and what we're doing in Rwanda. So Claire, do you want to start us off with a bit of an experience at Resonate, just to welcome everyone and to kick us off started?
Definitely. Thank you so much, Yvette. It's really an honor to be with you all amazing women. Here it's in the evening, I believe where you are, it might be in the morning. So what a pleasure. And to start, I want to start with a short story that many of you might know the story. If you've ever read the book by Wangari Maathai or the Nobel, she won the Nobel Prize related to climate. So this is a story that you might be familiar with, the hummingbird story. How many of you here, if you can raise by the icon, like how many of you know the hummingbird story? Few? Okay, I see a few hands. Okay, I'll just repeat the story. One day a forest caught on fire. And then there was these big, small animals, they all started running away. And then there was this small hummingbird. It flew from the nearest river, taking a drop of water and coming, put it on the burning forest. It went back and forth, trying to save the forest. At some point, well, all these animals had reached to the other side of the burning forest. They looked back and they saw the hummingbird going back and forth, dropping a drop of water. And they asked, "Hummingbird, what are you doing?" And the hummingbird said, "I'm doing the best that I can to serve my community." And that's the end of the story. What do you think of the story? Any volunteer? You just unmute yourself and share what you think of the story. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just what came into your mind.
I will jump in. Whenever something really touches my heart, and it comes up to my eyes and my eyes water. So it's such a simple, beautiful example of what's available to all of us. So thank you very much for sharing that. That was touching.
Thank you.
Claire, I just
Anyone
want
else
to
want to
share
share?
that.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to share that as part of the WIA team, sometimes we have talked about lighting many small fires where there's a little spark and a little spark, and that can create something really incredible. And we do our best. And so it really touched me.
Thank you
love
for
it.
sharing.
And I love hummingbirds too. I have hummingbird feeders. So it was beautiful.
One more person and then we continue. One more courageous woman who wants to share.
I can go really quickly. Claire, the story, I mean, that is remarkable. But the first thing that you said that I actually wrote down was part of the mission of women feeling comfortable to raise their voices without fear. And that really touched my heart in a way that I can't even begin to tell you, because I was raised to have fear to raise my voice. So it was just very powerful. And I'm 43. So just to like be, generationally aware. And I just think that that was so powerful. It just makes me realize, how am I raising my daughter currently? So thank you for that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'll go back to why I shared that story, because as women, sometimes we feel like we need to have more, or like to do something. But what if you could start with the small resources that you have and achieve bigger thing? Here in this story, we can think of different things. We can say maybe the big elephant maybe felt like, if the small hummingbird is doing this, maybe I could join force and then try to save our community. And maybe where the lion that can run faster then can also come together. So you can do like small acts that put the light and encourage others or inspire others to come and join you. That also you don't need to have, the small act can lead to bigger results or create ripple effects. And that's what we believe in at Resonate, that the small act, regardless of where you're coming from, regardless of your background, whether you come from a poor family, whether you're educated, there is always something that you can contribute to make the world a better place, not for other people, because we believe that it starts with you and within you, and then you share the light. Yes, that's what I would say. Would that be enough, Yvette?
Yes, thank you very much. This is really a good start. I think I'm seeing so many happy smiles and full of hope. And I want to ask if you would now give us a bit of a picture of how the women in Rwanda situation is. How is the gender equality in Rwanda? If you could paint a picture for us.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I'll start saying that I'm very grateful to be living in a country that at least give platform to women, give women a voice. So Rwanda, as some of you might know, is a leading globally in terms of gender equality, because Rwanda has more women in the parliament. More than 60% of women are in the parliament. 60% of women in the parliament are women. We know the country has invested so much in terms of like promoting women, making sure that they have access to education or right to education, making sure that the policies allow women to own land or assets. And we can see also some of the biggest banks in Rwanda are run by women. But that's on a high level. But then when you go to the grassroots level, you see the numbers are not reflected. And you wonder, like, why is that in a country that promotes women, that gives women voice? Why is that? And the different factor that comes into that, right? That includes, there's the gender norms that takes time. There is the bias, there is the stereotype that hinders women to have access to access to finance, or hinders women even to believe in themselves, to believe that, yes, I can be an entrepreneur, yes, I can be a leader, or yes, I can be the artist if that's what I want to be. Because people have their dream, have their aspiration, and all that we want is people to aspire to be bigger. So yeah, in Rwanda, there is progress, but also I would say like there is more work to be done for the women to take advantage of being in a country that promotes and give them a space to shine.
Yeah, to more shining and to more taking place. But I also hear that there could be a problem, or that there is more work to be done. Why do you think that is? Or what could be the one thing that's missing for the women, not just in Rwanda, but globally, to really take up the spaces and use their full potential?
There's so many things that could be done when we talk about system and also the gender stereotype. But today I'll focus on the confidence gap. Confidence gap that is defined, women feeling less self-assured than men. That translates to women missing opportunity for social and economic advancement. You might be all familiar with the this Harvard Business Review post that was talking about the biases, where women will see a job description and they'll look at the things they don't have and decide not to apply. While our male counterpart will look at, they're asking 10 things, I have 3. I'm the best candidate for this position. And sometimes you realize that these men or these our fellows, probably we went to the same school, probably we were the first one in class, but at the end of the graduation, we feel like maybe I'm not qualified for this, or maybe I need to have A, B, C, and D to go for that. And that's how we women ending up missing opportunity. Or you go into a room, you go into a meeting, they're asking ideas, you have great ideas, but you cannot even have the courage to raise your hand and share your opinion. And in the moment you hear, or you would whisper it to your next colleague, who might have the courage to share it, and they take credit. And that's how we miss opportunity. And we know for a fact that as much as competence matters, confidence also matters. If I know well, but I cannot express what I know, that's how we miss opportunity. And that's what we call confidence gap. And we want to tackle that for women to be able to take advantage. I talked about Rwanda having the system, the policies in place that promote women. But you wonder, why is it that when you look at the number statistics, when you look at women in the informal sector, they're about 74%. These are women who are into agriculture, small scale businesses, art. And then when you go to numbers of women in the formal business sector, they're about 41%, and the majority are men. And you wonder why. And when you look at the women graduating from university, for example, you see that the numbers are almost equal. Like in Rwanda, about like 54% of women graduate, and you wonder why. And that's why I feel like it's not even feel that I believe it's also important. As much as we give access to skills, to education, we also have to help the women overcome their fears, overcome their self-limiting belief. And yeah, that's how we tackle that's how we make sure that we have women on the table, in the boardroom, in the decision-making. And we make sure that even when they're there, it's not just to fit the numbers that, let's say in our country, that requires that a certain percentage. Right now it's like 30% should be like women. But we make sure that those who are in those boardrooms, they're even able to challenge the system to be more accommodating, welcome. We create an environment that welcome women to thrive and be themselves. Yeah. Once
Very
I
well
was
answered.
Can I add this, Yvette?
Yes,
Last week,
please go ahead.
no. The last 2 weeks, there was Women Deliver. I don't know if some of you were able to attend, but this was a big conference that Rwanda hosted, about 6,000 women. And someone was on the panel and she was talking about, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And you can understand what that means. So like on the menu, that means there is someone who decides for you. You don't have a choice. So how do we make sure that we empower women, we build the women to be at the table, to be the one making decisions, to be influence policies. Yeah, I'll pause here, Yvette.
Thank you, Claire. That was very inspiring. Now, if we can't get at the table, we either create our own table or we at least appear on the menu. So I think that is really, really inspiring. Now, Claire, I want to ask more of a personal question. Have you ever yourself experienced confidence gap, whether in your journey as a professional or as an individual?
Definitely, I have. But I would say, because I was very lucky to be raised by a strong mother, at least it didn't affect me that much. I was raised by a strong mother who told me from the very young age that, Claire, you can be anything that you want. And because she was an educator, so she told me the things that you need to focus on is education, but also make sure that you have discipline and hard work. So even in moments where I felt doubting myself, at least I had that support system to tell me, you can do it, go for it. And also something that she did that I think was really powerful, to start at the young age to feel like I'm in control of my life and in my choice. I remember when I was in high school and I was supposed to decide, like in terms of like what I study in A-level, like, do I want to be a doctor? Do I want to be, who do I want to be? And at that time, my mom wanted me to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pilot because I was like, we don't have so many pilots in our country. I could be the first one. Obviously, my mom wanting me to study something that will make sure that I'm able to secure a job. But she created that space to listen to me, why I wanted to be a pilot, why not to be a doctor, which in the end, we ended up deciding that I'm going to do math and physics instead of biology and chemistry, which will lead me to be a doctor. And she supported me. She said, I'll support you on that, but make sure that you do well. And to me, because she created that space, obviously I would study making sure that I don't disappoint my mom, who has had trust in me. But that has allowed me to try even things that I never envisioned myself doing. And also I was very lucky when I joined Resonate back in 2015 as the operation manager. My role at that time was to make sure that as an organization, we have system and policies in place to function. I like to say that I was the first employee of Resonate, because when I joined, it was just the two co-founders. But I was very lucky to have a leader who believed also in me and pushed me to do things that I never envisioned myself doing. And I believe if I didn't have that foundation, I'll probably have given up, saying like, I cannot do this. Even talking about the position that I'm in today, like leading an organization, of course, you worry about, am I good enough? Or will I be able to deliver? Will I be able to continue the legacy that the people who came before me has built, right? And that's when the confidence gap, or like the self-limiting belief, kicked in. And having the support system of other women around me has helped me to navigate those moments. And to me, that's why I feel like it's really important to be aware of that, and also like understand, how do you cope with that, or how do you even stop those little voices that might be telling you you're not enough, you're not ready for this, or this is not your space, or who are you to say this, or who are you to do that, that you remember you're where you are because you deserve it, and because you're worthy of it. That's the story that I would share.
Thank you very much for being generous. And I think from this, what I hear is that the self-doubt, the self-limiting belief will be there, but as women, it's important that we remember that we can have a support system, but also that when those small voices come in, we know when to quiet them. So thank you very much for sharing that. Now, I want to hear more what you do at Resonate. I know that when we started, Athena did tell us a bit more what your mission is. But can you talk to us a bit more what you do and how you are supporting other women? For you, it was your mom and the support system. How is Resonate helping the women and girls in Rwanda and East Africa?
Yes. Antenna talked about it a little bit, about how we deliver the short leadership training that helps women shift their mindset. And also, as I said, as much as competence matters, confidence also matters. And that's where we partner with organizations that are delivering hard skills or education to women and girls, and we integrate our leadership and confidence training to make sure that women don't only have access to education or skills or resources, but also they have the confidence and the leadership skills that is needed to turn those skills into action. Because I would give an example. If you say we all want to alleviate people from poverty. If you talk about the development work that we all do, we want to alleviate people from poverty. And sometimes we come and say, okay, what people need is money. But we forgot that giving me money, but I don't have the right mindset, I might not use the money well, right? That's why you give me money and you come the next day, you find me where you left me and you've already invested in me. But how about you would empower me to think about, as Claire, who do I want to be? And where do I want to see myself? What are the changes that I want to see? And help me, because sometimes when you're coming from a difficult background, sometimes it's hard to see what you're capable of. But I'm sure, regardless of the difficulties you might be going through, the strength, the talent that you hold, and how do you use those talent, those skills to your advantage? And that's what we do at Resonate. We're not telling people be this or be that, but we're helping them discover their true potential, what they want to be, where do they want to see themselves in the future. And when we work with partners who have given them the skills, then that's when we amplify the impacts, whether it be of our partner, but also of the women that we work with, because that way we are making sure that when you come and you want to give me money or you want to give me a sewing machine, I'll tell you, thank you, Yvette, but I think if you can maybe sponsor me to go to school because that's what I want, because I want to be the future leader and this is what it requires, then you know your investment will be worth it. Otherwise, you'll come and say, like, this is the only opportunity that I have, let me take it, even if I know it's not something that I want. So that's, as Resonate, that's how we do it, helping women discover their true potential, what they want. And we use storytelling as a tool. This is a framework that was developed by Marsha Gans, who is a Harvard professor. And it was used in the community development, community organizing. And we have adapted to the context, like in Rwanda. And storytelling help women, especially that even in our culture, we don't like to talk about ourselves, or like, you know, we're very quiet. That creates even a space for women to start sharing, to build even that community. Because the moment Yvette shared her story, and I'm like, oh, Yvette is someone, we came from the same neighborhood. She has gone through this. This is how she overcame it. That's when I become like also inspired. Or like if I'm going through the same problem as Yvette, sometimes I'll be shy to share them because I feel like I might be the only one going through this. But the moment we share, that's when we become aware. And in our training, we also give them the opportunity to think back in their life. Think about the things that you went through and how they shaped you. And start to think about also your values, because values play a big influence in the decision that we make. And get to think, what are the things that I care about as Claire? And how would the world look like if I were to make these changes that I want to see? And I say that's where the aha moments happen when we do our work, when women discover, ooh, I also have this value. Oh, I have this also strength. Now it's like, how do I move past my self-limiting belief?
Thank you very much, Claire. You might have a lot of aha moments that resonate. And now I'm going to challenge you to give an aha moment for our audience from Resonate with you.
That's a tough one, Yvette, because there's
Maybe
so many
sharing an impact or something that you've seen that really works, some successful stories as a result of the work that you're implementing. Resonate?
Definitely. Because I've been with the organization for the past 8 years, you can imagine how many aha moments, which is why it's hard to choose. But I'll go with the story of this woman, Anosiata. And Anosiata for me is a hero. It's a hero that I consider also like a role model. Anosiata was a single mother when she joined our training. So she had 3 children. And as a single mother, she was always worried about how she would be able to raise her children. And and she always felt like she wasn't enough and felt ashamed because she had divorced with her husband. And during the workshop, she realized actually leaving an abusive husband was a great choice to take care of her children. And she realized that her gender doesn't have to define who she become, or like whether she become an entrepreneur. And she shared that one of the things that helped her in the workshop was one session that we have, the Tree of Life. I think this one you know better than me, Yvette, the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life, it helps participants think about where they're coming from. The roots stand for where you're coming from. And the trunk stand for like your present. And the branch stand for your achievements so far. And because most of the time we stay at the roots, thinking about the things that we went through, we spend less time thinking about the achievement. And through that, she was able to say, okay, these are also the achievements that I've made. And inspired by the hummingbird story, she started to think about the future, who she wants to be. And she decided, I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a successful mother that inspire my children. And from there, she gathered the courage to go ask for a loan and started a supermarket. And Anosiata was able to send her children to school, and they completed university, and she was able to expand her business. She joined serving groups with other women so that she can be able to grow. And at the moment, as we speak, Annunciata and her group, her cooperative, they're able to save about 18,000 US dollar. That's 18 million Rwandan francs in 6 months. And you can imagine where she started. We did not teach her to be an entrepreneur. It was also like helping her to discover what she's capable of. And when I look at her, now she has like about 3 business commercial buildings that she rents out, in addition to having a bakery. And to me, like, she's a hero. And to me, that's a definition that women who are determined, women who are able to see, to look in themselves, there is nothing that can stop them to achieving who they want to be or who they're destined to be.
Definitely. That was really, really a good one. I see so many in the group. So this was really an amazing one. And I think the one takeaway, at least for me, is that once I know what I want, who I can be, nothing and no one can stop me. Now, Claire, I am curious to know if there are any false or unconscious belief about confidence gap that you faced or that you see in the community. Would you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, there's so many biases or self-limiting beliefs. We talk about gender norms. We talk about gender stereotype, we talk about self-limiting belief. But also coming back to what I said before, where we think to alleviate people from poverty or to help people, is that we need to give them resources or like money. That is good. But again, I would say like mindset should be the key. And this is also something that we've, as an organization, at the beginning we were struggling. We still now do face challenges where people like cannot quite understand like the importance of our work. And that's why we did a randomized control trial, because we care about women. We are women. We know what it feels to be in a room. You want to share your idea, but you're afraid it's not the right idea, or like you want to have like a perfect answer or the correct answer. So we did a randomized control trial to understand really what is the impact of resonant, and is this the best way to support women? And we did it with the independent researchers from Georgetown University, and along with our partner CARE International Rwanda. And we surveyed about 459 women. We grouped them into 3 groups. One group, about 150, received our Storytelling for Leadership, which is our core program, which is our flagship that focuses on helping people discover who they are, what they care about, and building their agency. And the second group, we give them our professional development module. And at that time, we gave them effective communication, seeking out opportunity, and goal setting. And the third group, for those who are familiar with the RCT, we gave them, usually the control group, you gave them nothing. You gave them no intervention. But in our case, we gave them cash, which was equivalent to attending the training, because we wanted to understand what is the difference. We started the study back in 2019, August, and it was a 1-year study. And when it was time to do the midline, that's when COVID hit. Obviously, it was the first time people were experiencing a pandemic. And we were worried that the results would be affected by the pandemic, which we also agreed that the results were affected by the pandemic. But we were able to see results, positive results. We saw that women who went through our Storytelling for Leadership, 67% are more likely to see themselves as leaders. And I should define how we define leadership. We define leadership as being proactive in the face of a challenge. yes, having a title or being elected or having a certain position makes you a leader. But we say that a leader is someone who see a challenge like the hummingbird and you do something, whether be in your household, in your community, in your class, at your school, in your work. But you don't wait for someone to come and solve that problem. You do something like the hummingbird, whether be it's advocating, whether be it's gathering people. So that's how we define leadership. And we saw that 67% see themselves as leaders. And we saw that women who went through our professional development program earn 116% more income than the control group. So an example here, if one is earning 100, if the women in the control group earn 100, that means women who went through our professional development earn 216 dollars. And we saw that 31% are more likely to achieve their goals. And to us, that was, and we did not see any difference from the control group, from the people who received cash. And to us prove that, yes, let's give people money, but most importantly, let's help them have the right mindset, right? And what also as a program, what we learn is that our storytelling leads to psychosocial outcome in terms of how you see yourself, what you're capable of, versus our professional development lead to economic outcome, which to us proves that it's important to do a hybrid, the storytelling plus a professional development. That way we make sure that we are reaching both the psychosocial outcome in terms of how people see themselves, their worth, their agency, the resilience, and then the professional leads to economic outcome. And we want to reach both because we want women to be also financially stable or like reach their financial freedom. And to us, that's a bias that still people have that, and we want to challenge that. We're not saying that soft skill is enough. No, it's not enough, but it's also critical as the hard skills. And that's one belief that I would want to challenge people to think as well as we think about empowering people and helping them unleash their potential.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Claire. This is really insightful and eye-opening. Again, to emphasize that just the competence is not enough. Both competence and the confidence go hand in hand. And so this is really important. And maybe now, as we get to the end of our interview, I would want to ask you, what do you hope or what do you think could be the call to action as we, the audience, who have been listening and hearing amazing work that you're doing, what can we do to contribute in creating more change makers?
Mm-hmm. One is do like the WIA is doing, like empowering other women, right? Catalyst, because that's how we create the change, mentoring other young women so that the next generation are like prepared and ready to build on the legacy of the women who fought so hard for us to be where we are. So let's continue to mentor and support other women as well. And I will also say, like, change starts with you and within you. If you become the change that you want to see in the world, definitely the people around you will be inspired, will be benefit from you. As also we've seen that research shows that for every dollar invested in women results in $10, and that goes into their family. So if we become the change, definitely we are creating a better world. yeah, and engage with all the women, and let's dare to pursue our dreams. I know some norms, gender norms says, this is your space as a woman. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't speak like this. But like, can we just be women and thrive and follow our dream? I'm so big on dreaming bigger than where I am, bigger than where I come from. And especially for young women wanting to go higher in their careers, or like be entrepreneurs or be billionaires, you know, why not? That to dream that it's possible. Maybe it won't happen the next morning, but eventually, don't give up. You will get there. So that would be my call to action. Let's support each other. Let's support women organizations that are doing amazing work. Yeah.
It's always lots and lots of wisdom. I love learning from you, and always it's very inspiring to hear other women passionate about helping other women. One would say, I am really inspired and now I'm ready to go. So, and I think I will say here, I'm grateful for Resonate and for Women Impact Alliance for doing the same work on me. Thank you. And now we'll give it back to Amber and Athena. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Yvette and Claire. You have just given us 40 minutes of total pure inspiration. And for me, I can say I feel really renewed by listening to you, renewed. And I feel like we're in such alignment, with the idea of, women. I love what you just said, Claire, women going for our dreams, and that you dream bigger than, just, we should all dream bigger than just our circumstances, and reach out. And whether it's on an individual basis, mentoring other women, encouraging other women, or being involved in an organization, as we all who are present here do. I also just want to mention, we have several of our WIA coaches on the call today, and I am sure that they are all resonating, if I can use the name of your organization, they're all resonating with your message, because so many of the young women who come into our program, in their applications, when we ask them, what do you want coaching on? They say, I would say 9 times out of 10, they say, I need coaching on my confidence. I know I have the skills, but I'm afraid to use them, or I second guess myself, or I don't speak up when I have something to say. I have the imposter syndrome, all of those things. It seems that is such a key issue for women around the world. And it's one that our coaches, who, as I said, we have several of them on the call today, they address this directly every day, every time they coach our catalysts. And I do want to just say how much we at WIA appreciate all of you coaches and the work that you do for our women, because so many of them will say, my coach changed that for me. My coach taught me how to be confident. My coach showed me who I am and the value that I bring. So, I just want to say I appreciate that so much. And it's the work we're doing, as well as the work you all are doing in Rwanda and East Africa. So I want to open it up to questions now. We have 2 amazing women to ask questions of. You can ask Yvette or Claire whatever questions you want. And I think it would be great to come off mute and ask a question. And if you don't want to do it that way, you can certainly put it in the chat and we will ask it for you. So who wants to go first and ask a question of one of our amazing guests? We have Tatiana. Okay, Tatiana, you want to come off of mute and ask a question?
Yeah, hello everyone, and thank you very much for the very inspiring presentations and dialogue. I'm wondering about maybe more a dark side of this very inspiring and very confident journey, because I assume resistance had to meet on this journey. And I'm dealing at my job a lot of this resistance, since their colleagues feel that I'm not 100% confident, and it's very easy to knock down such a person. It creates this circle when it's going away more and more. And for me, it's even very frustrating that female colleagues make it even harsher than male colleagues. Do you experience this as well? How did you overcome that, if you did? And what are the, I don't know, psychological reasons for women to be that much harsh to the peers? Thank you.
Claire, would you like to address Tatiana's question? Or
Yes.
Yvette, if you have something as well.
Yes. Thank you, Tatiana, for sharing. And yeah, I would say, like, first, like, I wish that wouldn't happen to you. I wish that you had women who supports you. And I would say, yes, it happened where you go into the room and obviously, even though sometimes it's not said, but you can see it through the action or through the face. And it's common. And I would share, like, what I do as a practice in those moments. And I hope, because here we have incredible women, so I'm hoping that we can also learn from you all, even from the coach. And for me, when it happened, it's also taking that moment. I do so much, like, exercise in my head where I feel like you're enough. You're here because you deserve it. And also, like, reminding myself that sometimes people's opinion is how they see me. And sometimes what matters, almost like all the time, what matters is also, like, how I see myself. Do I see myself as not worthy or not incapable, right? If it's a skill that they are commenting on, like if it's a constructive feedback, then I take time to, okay, this makes sense. It's time that I work on that. But I would say, like, what helps me is also having the support system of other women where I can go and have that even conversation with them and say, like, okay, this makes sense. Maybe you need to work on this, versus this is a reflection of the person, not necessarily a reflection of who you are. I'll pause here, and I would love to learn from other women as well, how you did with that.
I'll jump in here for a moment, Claire. You know, something that you said was what I was thinking, that Tatiana, I'll say to you, there are many times when we have people around us who doubt us or who are critical of us. And first, I love the distinction Claire was making between feedback that we could learn something from versus just someone being critical and, you know, pushing back against you. And for me, the key thing personally that I have found is to have that support system, you know, and Claire said that, to have people you can go to unpack what's happened. You know, for me, sometimes I'll say to my friends, my circle of women, I know I'm not seeing this clearly. I know I'm being reactive here. So help me see, like, which part should I just ignore and which part should I think through? And what is this reflecting to me? If you know, is it reflecting back to me that I'm not feeling totally confident in this area? You know, so if that's the case, then how do I work on that, right? How do I find that core strength? But for me, that circle of friends who believe in me, who will support me no matter what, who will tell me the truth, even if it's hard, tell me the truth when it's really good, you know, there's just the whole gambit. And, you know, inside, are you a catalyst, Tatiana? Are you part of our program?
Yeah, this spring cohort.
Great. Okay. So, we have these ally pods, which for those of you who don't know, it's a group of women, other catalysts inside the program. And that's why we actually created that, Tatiana. Why we created that is to have women around you as a catalyst who you can cultivate these relationships with. And, sometimes the groups don't catch on right away. So I don't know what your situation is with your group, but if it's not catching on right away, I would say you step in and get them going so that you have that support system, if not somewhere else, then here inside the program, because that's what we built that for. And it may be an opportunity for you to step up as a leader there. So thank you so much for asking that question. It's one that I'm sure other people have experienced, other people on the call have experienced, that kind of, feeling already not that confident, and then people kind of having you feel less confident. What do you do with that? So thank you for bringing that up. And I think there's a lot of resources to shift and to support around that, but allies are key. You always want allies in your life. Other questions? Anybody else have a question for Yvette or Claire? I can't tell if anybody's raising their hands. Oh, Claire Doyle, you put something in the chat. I haven't read it yet, but I see you there. Do you want to speak to the group? You want to ask a question or make a comment?
Hi, I'd love to. This is just for Tatiana. I've been in a similar situation. I moved from Thailand, where I did the program, and it was amazing, to the Netherlands. And I resonated really a lot with what you said. I felt lost. I didn't feel like I knew a lot of people to support me when I was going through those different situations that were happening. So I reached out to the alumni group. I looked for who was in the Netherlands, and they're kind of scattered all over, but we now meet. We try to meet once a month, and just to chat. It doesn't even have to be very heavy or serious, but just a wonderful way to know that you're already on the same page just by being in this program. And it's a healthy, supportive group of women. And so I would definitely recommend that. And also, even from different countries, you can reach out to me anytime, and I'm sure many of the women here.
That's so great, Claire. Thank you. I love knowing that you do that. That's amazing. So we're coming to the end of our time together. I want to first thank Claire and Yvette so much for sharing your stories. Yvette, you did a fantastic job of interviewing Claire and creating the space for her to inspire us. And you were an inspiration yourself as well. So thank you for that. And I want to mention, Resonate is such an amazing organization, and they're actually going to have some events this fall in the US. And I'm going to put the link and also the dates in case you are in any of these places, Texas, New York, Los Altos Hills in California, or Boston. There's a link there where you can see the events, because they're celebrating 10 years of impact. And it would be wonderful if you're in the area in any of those dates to go and get to see them in person, because really I'm so happy to know that Resonate exists and is doing that beautiful work in Rwanda and East Africa. And I'm inspired by what you do. And I'm already thinking about how can we integrate more storytelling into the work we do at WIA? So you're an absolute inspiration. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your inspiration with us today. And I'm so happy everyone was able to come. And we will be sending out the recording later to everybody who signed up. And feel free to share it with your friends if you feel like you have other people in your life who would be inspired by Yvette and Claire and their work in the world. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Can I also share the last word?
Yes,
please?
please.
I just want to extend my gratitude to you, Antenna, and the entire team for the amazing work that you're doing. Two of my colleagues at work are part of the program, and we can definitely see already the impact of the program. I'm sure Yvette can testify to that. So we're very grateful for that. And to all the women who made the time to be here with us. We're very grateful, and yeah, let's stay in touch. Let's continue to be the light and the change that we want to see in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Yvette. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Bye. Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot and bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye,
Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Go out and lead your pod.
Amazing.